Live and direct. It's Sway in the morning.
Right here on Shade 45.
One of the most electrifying, magnetizing, enticing, compelling, talented actresses to ever grace the TV screen is here with us today. You may know her as Erica Kane, but her name is Susan Lucci. She's with us today. Give it up for Susan Lucci, ladies and gentlemen.
It's Lucci, baby.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
gosh.
What an intro. Thank you.
Oh, it is. I grew up. You know how much time I wasted watching you on TV? I'm not wasted, but I was entertained by you as a kid.
Oh,
I didn't go out to play I grew up in Oakland, so we played a lot of sports.
Sure.
We sold a lot of drugs too. And because of you, I never went into the illegal trade because I was watching all my children.
Oh, I'm so glad.
You saved my life.
Oh, wow. Good for that.
We were just talking about the different programs that we watched you do over the years, but that character, Erica Kane, I'm sure you hear this all the time, was such a defining character, especially for daytime TV. That character became a franchise in itself. And I remember when you left All My Children, and I just felt like I was bothered. I was bothered. I was like, that's a part of my memory that, what do I do with this now that she's leaving, even though you are who you are? What was it like for you leaving that role?
Well, I was sort of kicked out of the nest, so to speak. The show was kicked out of the nest. The show went off the air.
Yeah.
And there was discussion that went on for a while about a continuing. Agnes Nixon, who I am so blessed to call a friend, as well as, my goodness, such spectacular genius writer, continued, even though the show went off the air. She's so creative, and she had so many ideas. So she would call me and tell me what she had in mind in the hopes that we would go back on the air.
Wow.
And but it was almost 2 years before it was going to go on to Hulu, and no longer on a broadcast network, but on Hulu. But by that time, I had been cast as Geneviève de la Tour in Devious Maids.
Yes,
Cherry. And I had also begun doing a show for Investigation Discovery called Deadly Affairs that I do.
Oh, you kill that show. I'm going to interrupt you.
That's okay.
But you kill that show.
Oh, thank you.
I love the way you narrate that show.
Thank you.
Like, you are the appeal, even though those stories are tragic and ridiculous.
Oh, yes, and real.
And real, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you went on to do that.
So I was doing those two things, and I was working in New York when I was here and doing Devious Maids in Atlanta.
Wow.
So I wasn't free to go to Stamford, Connecticut to shoot the Hulu version of the show, and that's what happened to me. So that's why I was no longer there.
Is it refreshing, though, to just, have all these other avenues, all these other tent poles now in your career where you're not just pigeonholed, if in a sense, to be Erica Kane? Like, was it refreshing to get back out there and do, not that you didn't do other things, but...
Yeah, I got to do Broadway and got to continue to be an actress in other roles. Yeah. I must say I'm grateful for that, but so eternally grateful for having played Erica Kane.
Yeah.
Worked on All My Children.
Yeah.
And when All My Children was going off the air, I knew I wanted to continue doing what I love to do. And my wish list was that I would find another part now in the present time that I was just as excited about as I was when I played Erica Kane.
Yeah.
And the second part of that wish was that I'd be in good hands.
Wow.
And here I am. My goodness, am I lucky.
Yeah.
Because I played this incredible role, Geneviève de la Tour, in the best of hands with Mark Cherry writing.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Lifetime has been incredible, incredibly with us and for us. And I just got back to New York from Atlanta where we shoot Devious Maids, and I see billboards all over. And I mean, it's fantastic.
I want to.
The whole experience.
The streak is over, Susan Lucci! Susan Lucci originated the role of Erica Kane on All My Children when the show premiered in 1970. This is her first win in 19 nominations.
Yo, that moment when Shamar Moore said the streak is over, the winner is, and he said your name, I think the entire world just kind of let out a sigh of relief. We all celebrated that. I felt like I won the Emmy at that point.
Thank you.
Were you nervous that it may not be your name again, or did they?
Yes, actually, yes. When Shamar Moore so charmingly said the streak is over. You know, we were in the Madison Square Garden that year. I thought he was announcing some playoff scores. It was May. I know hockey goes on a long time. Basketball. I thought, oh, isn't that nice? He's catching up the guys in the audience. And I'd never heard my name after the 9th time that I didn't win, was nominated and didn't win. I must be a self-protective thing. I would sort of go numb. I never heard the name. Yeah. And so I had a big fear that some year I might go up thinking it was my name, but it wasn't. So when he said my name, I didn't hear it. And but Rosie O'Donnell, when I had sat down in the beginning, she said, Susan, when you go up tonight, give me your evening bag. Otherwise, they'll say your name. You'll stand up fast. You'll step all over your bag, and that won't be very pretty on TV. And I said, Rosie, thank you. That's really nice of you. But, you know, history's pretty much taught me I'm not going up on the stage.
Yeah, wow.
But she said, do that. So when I did win, she took my bag. That's how I knew I won. And my husband lifted me up by my elbow, and I whispered in his ear, and anybody who saw that broadcast, I whispered in his ear, are you sure? Wow. And he said yes, and then I went up on stage, and my knees, I just turned to jello. I didn't think I could keep on standing. I mean, when I turned around and saw the audience, I mean, I'll never forget that as long as I live. And Oprah in the wings cheering. I mean, I had no idea anybody cared about it. You know what I mean? My family did. I did, of course, but that was amazing.
I thought that maybe you offended or pissed off somebody. Who votes on the Emmys? I thought somebody in the governing board. Or I thought, did she get A-balled or something like that?
Blackball.
Blackball?
A-ball is cocaine.
Okay, my bad. I'm going back to my childhood.
Lucci, baby.
I just wondered, did you piss somebody off in the business because it was apparent to the people in the entire industry that you should have won, years
Day one.
over and over again, and that wasn't the case, right?
I was never aware that I had any, had made any enemies along the way. I really didn't know. But you know what great came out of the times I didn't win is that people, what you're saying, the American public let me know that they thought in so many ways. Little girls from Pennsylvania came to see me at the studio and gave me their ballet trophy. Wow. Shelley Winters came by one summer afternoon and gave me a note from the actors at the Actors Studio and told me that I should win. And when I met Marvin Hamlish the first time at a concert he was giving for charity, I didn't know anybody knew I was alive on the planet. I was just doing my thing. And, that he encouraged me not to keep on acting. He encouraged me that I was good at what I did and not to be discouraged by the fact that I didn't win. The good wishes from people all over the country, I mean, I never would have had those had I won right away.
Wow. Susan Lucci is here with us.
That's what I wanted. I'm so glad you touched on that because I want to know if you could share something personal about that, because when I hear this story, I think about your resilience. Because I'm so not a high road person. I'm trying to work on getting there, Susan, but I don't take the high road often. And I just thought it was very high road of you. How did you find the strength, or where do you get the strength from to go every year and sit there after losing so many years in a row? What gave you the strength to keep going back and hosting and doing different things and sitting in the audience? Where do you get that strength from?
Oh, first of all, thank you. I mean, what a nice question. But I mean, I just simply loved what I was doing, so I felt I wanted to go back and play Erica. And if not winning was telling me that I could improve, I always wanted to improve anyway. But, I thought, well, how can I be better? What can I do better? And so that was really what it was about. I was doing what I loved to do among people I loved to work with. And so that, that was easy. That part was easy.
That was the easy part.
Yes, it was easy, that part. The ride home after I didn't win, I suppose my husband would tell you, wasn't always the most pleasant part of the whole experience. Yeah. But in terms of the work, I loved what I did. And, my goodness, when I would go home, because my my daughter started watching Me Not Win from the time she was 4 years old, and my son wasn't even born yet. And I didn't win till she was out of college.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So,
Because so many times people want to give up, and that's what I'm saying. Share that. So your daughter, what happened?
so when I would go home each time, and as my children then would grow, they would make me something to make me feel better, which was so sweet that they were even, I didn't, that they would be aware. They would make cupcakes or brownies or cookies. Liza one time had made on construction paper, "We love you, Mommy," on each step up to the bedroom.
Wow.
"We love you, Mommy. We think you are the best actress." And these sweet, amazing things from my children, I never would have had I won right away.
Right.
But it also grounds you, and you know what's important to you, and they were number one. So
Susan,
Thank you.
Susan Lucci is here.
Thank
Real
you.
quick, I'm curious because Heather B, and she always gets mad at me when I bring this up, but she was on the first big time reality show that this country has ever seen. We both work for MTV. I'm still currently there. And she was on Real World. Now, what people don't realize is there's a connection between the person who created Real World and All My Children, which is interesting because I feel that reality TV became the slow death of daytime soap opera TV, in a sense. Who was that person?
Mary Ellis Bynum. She was the creator of The Real World, one of the creators, John Murray and Mary Ellis Bynum. Mary Ellis her background is soap operas, all of the different shows. I was just telling Sway, Search for Tomorrow, Santa Barbara, As the World Turns. She was involved in all that programming, and that was the idea, to create daytime drama and mix it with documentary. And John Murray had a news background, so that's where the idea was born for Real World, a cheaper version, if you will, just in terms of not the actors and the SAG and things like that, but that's what was born. And I shared that with Sway many times, and he thought it was interesting. He was like, no wonder, that's how the lines get blurred.
Yeah, because reality TV.
interesting.
So what are your thoughts, of reality TV? I think a lot of it is garbage, personally, because I think it's called reality TV, but it's a farce. But a lot of the kids can't tell the difference. The lines are blurred. When you watch it, what are your thoughts about it?
Well, first of all, I'm not so sure there's anything that is actually what they call reality TV.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Survivor came on, with Real World, I mean, that was more relationships, and that I could see.
Well,
the
first one was a
connection.
documentary just with artists. That's it. So it changed since the first season.
Since the first season. But when I watched Survivor, for example, I thought, well, gee, if those guys are starving out there in the wild, there's a crew alongside them in a boat, and I think they're going to throw them a can of tuna.
Yeah, right.
They're not going to let them just go starve to death. So so I was always a little leery of really buying into it being completely reality.
Yeah.
What I think changed the American audience's appetite for reality was the OJ Simpson trial.
Ooh,
I think we were all so addicted to
point.
watching that, and that was the first thing I remember as being real.
Yeah.
We were watching it as it unfolded.
Yeah.
And it was addicting.
Yeah.
And so much of our audience, our American people, were addicted to this.
Yeah.
And I think that was the beginning of an appetite for, let's see reality.
We call it ratchetness now. And let me go on the record. I don't think all reality TV is garbage. I just don't like a lot of the exploitation and the sensationalism
I agree.
and that you see taking place on the screen. We were talking off air. When women don't just all of a sudden in the lunch, at brunch, jump over on tables and start scratching each other eyeballs out. Right? Do y'all? I mean, I don't know.
No.
Okay, I don't know what y'all do at brunch. I don't do that.
No, and in a scripted show,
Yeah.
You're in the hands of some artistry and some storytelling.
Yeah.
And so when somebody does leap across a table, the audience has had a chance to grow with this story, you know, and see what the background is and see what leads up to it. I mean, if you just watch everybody leaping to strangle each other, it's sort of like the payoff without the build-up.
Yeah.
Always better with the build-up. And All My Children, on Devious Maids, things come out of character.
Yeah.
You know, good writers, things come out of character.
Yeah.
They're not just events.
It's an art. Right? Go ahead, Tracy.
We always talk about, Susan, how transparency is the new mystery, and how now with social media, everyone knows everything about the next person. And I know with All My Children, it came out before there was Twitter, before there was an Instagram, so you don't really know about anyone's sex scandals or any cat fights that are happening in the background. Was there like any tension or anything like behind the scenes with All My Children that maybe we didn't know about, but you guys smoothed over?
Not that I was aware of. And I mean, look, there may have been, I don't know. But I know when I've seen different pieces so supposedly based on soaps, I always knew it wasn't our show because I wasn't aware of any of that. So no, I didn't see that. But I personally would believe in a little bit more mystery in personal relationships and I mean, social media has a great place in our life, and you know, it's great technology advances and all that. But I do think there's a place for mystery too.
Yeah.
Susan Lucci, ladies and gentlemen.
You're listening to Sway in the morning
on Shade 45.